The term socialism has gotten some real press over the past few years as politicians argue over the state's role in people's lives and pocketbooks. In today's lesson, we're definitely not going to tackle this problem. We'll just discuss the roots of socialism. The term socialism initially described the 19th century political ideology that had at its cornerstone the desire to improve the impoverished lives of the working class. The catalyst for this was the poor living conditions brought on by the Industrial Revolution. Although the wealthy seemed to be getting wealthier, the working class found themselves working in danger and residing in slums. Desiring to improve the lives of the working class, socialism came on the scene. Like the ideologies of liberalism and radicalism, which called for greater political equality, socialism desired to level the playing field of social class. However, socialism would take this idea far beyond the boundaries of earlier ideologies. This was especially true in the area of economics. To explain, liberalism believed in the concept of laissez-faire economics, or the belief that government should keep their hands out of the economy and allow the free market to determine its own course. Socialists were diametrically opposed to this idea. They believed competition and private property had caused the ills of society. Their solution to these ills was an economic system based on cooperation and common property. To a socialist, the economic and social health of the community was more important than that of the individual. Some even went as far as to call for a ban on private property ownership. In order to put their ideologies into practice, socialist reformers began putting their money where their mouth was. One such man was Robert Owen, a rich industrialist who had caught the socialist fever. In the beginning of the 19th century, he purchased a mill in Scotland and chose to supply his workers with not only a safe work environment, but social needs such as clean housing, schooling, and even childcare. Perhaps shocking socialism critics, the mill prospered despite the extra money spent on caring for its workers. Taking his socialist ideas across the Atlantic, Owen set up a similar working environment in Indiana. Unfortunately, this commune, complete with a shared eating hall, leisure facilities, and even its own currency, failed due to infighting among the workers. Ironically, the commune was named New Harmony. On a side note, some historians feel it also failed due to its workers' unwillingness to actually work. Another such 19th century socialist reformer was Charles Fourier. Like Owen, Fourier believed people would be most happy and productive in an environment of cooperation. Also like Owen, he worked to create self-sustaining communities. Because he felt these communities could offer protection, they were named phalansteries, after an ancient Greek military formation known as the phalanx. Along with offering protection from economic ills, Fourier felt his phalansteries should also be places of pleasure. Members should be able to choose jobs they enjoy rather than being relegated to tasks. Building on this idea of pleasure, monogamy was seen as optional within the community. Rather than being constrained by pair bonds, community members were encouraged to see each other as free members of the human family. Despite the protection and pursuit of pleasure these communities promise, they met the same fate as the commune of New Harmony. In fact, none of them even lasted a decade. Springing to life in reaction to the impoverished lives of the working class during the Industrial Revolution, socialists desired to improve the impoverished lives of the working class. Believing that competition and free market economy oppressed the poor, they believed a system of shared property and cooperation were the answers to society's woes. Some even called for the abolishment of private property. Acting on these beliefs, men like Robert Owen and Charles Fourier created working environments and communities based on cooperation and the welfare of the community. Fourier's communes, known as phalansteries, were designed to offer protection from economic abuses while also offering lives of pleasure. Owen's working environments offered safe working conditions, clean housing, and even childcare. However, despite their grand ideals, and some initial success, these socialist experiments ended in failure.